Hello, good morning. It's Gail from Get Crafty with Gail and Blue Rose Paper Treasures. Good morning to everyone that are just popping in to join me this morning. I still sound funny because I still don't have my teeth, but I managed to get my impressions done after visiting 3 different people because I kept gagging. I've had my gum impression and I go in 2 weeks to get my bite impression. I should have my teeth by Christmas, so I do apologise if I sound a bit weird, but we'll just soldier on as best we can. Just hold on 1 sec, I'll be back. Alright. Okay, got a few people waiting to join, and we'll start in 1 second. This hopefully shouldn't take too long. I'm sort of prepared, but so we'll see how we go. It's always nerve-wracking when you start a live video because you just don't know what's going to happen. So what I might do, I've got a few people. Hi Sue Penny, and Tanya. Hello Tanya. Finding it hard to see my phone. Oh, probably because I didn't clean my glasses again. Alright, we've got a few people here now, so I might get started so I don't waffle on for too long. Alright, so split card technique. I actually found this when I was on Pinterest, and I found an old card of mine that I did for the Colour Fuses blog hop. I'm always stumbling over my own projects, and I forget what I've done, and I saw this one and thought, oh, I might do this one with some updated products. So what I'm going to do is the first 2 cards I'm going to go through. I'm going to be using the new Eden's Garden. And quite honestly, I can't look at the green cards anymore. I'm sick of seeing that green paper everywhere. We've got so much green in our inventory. I wish they'd bring us some more blues. I'm just so over green. But, so I'm using the Eden's Garden, and I'm actually adding a few accents from the Sweet as a Peach. I'm going to use those little flowers and these ones here. It just needed some little flowers in it as well. So we're going to use Eden's Garden. And basically that's what we're going to create to make the 2 cards. I just do one vertical, one landscape to make them look a little bit different. So I'll just pop them there so you can still see them a bit. Let's have a look. Alright, so the colours that I'm using, I'm really into Fresh Freezer at the moment. I can't stop using it. I didn't like it at first, but now I can't stop using it. So I'm using all the purples, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather and the Fresh Freezer. And I just grabbed 2 greens, a lighter one and a darker one. I got the Mint Macaron and the Just Jade. And I'm going to work all 3 cards. There's 3 different ones. There's sort of like beginners, and then there's a little bit harder, and then there's a little bit harder for the 3rd one. So we're going to start with the easiest one. And I'll just open all my ink pads. And we'll get started. First, as a rule, I always start with a bigger piece than I need, so that I've got the options of trimming things down. I always use, even though we're in Australia and we use A4, and we usually just cut it in half to make 2 A5 cards. I've actually been making all mine at 5.5 by 4.25, because when I trim the A4 at 4.25, I've got a perfect 4-inch piece left, which is great for all my matte pieces. So all my cards are 5.5 by 4.25, and plus a lot of our dies, being an American company, all the dies like the rectangles are designed more for 5.5 by 4.25, because if you try and put that on one of ours, it doesn't sit centrally. So I've just now do all my cards that size. Alright, so use your grid sheet or something with rulers with your grid on it. This piece is 8 inch across, and I've just centered it in between, right in the center, so I've got a guide for when I'm stamping, so I know sort of how much room I've got. And it's 5.25, so it's 8 by 5.25, and I'm using that center line as my guide, so I know where to stamp. First one I'm going to stamp with is the big flowery one. This technique is really good with big stamps, big flowers, or whatever you've got, but it works well with a nice big stamp. And I've just added lots of little bits all around it. There's no rhyme nor reason to how I do things. I just start stamping and away we go. But I'm going to keep that line in proportion so I know where to stamp. I stamped the bigger flower in the fresh freezer. And I just, using my guide, because I sort of want some on that half of the card and some on that. I'm just going to willy-nilly. And these stamps are good because they're not an exact, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have to put all your foliage, you know, in line with it. It's like a random stamp. They're called distinctive stamps, but I like to call them random stamps. So you don't have to be absolutely precise when you're stamping. Alright, so there's my centre line. So I'm going to have a little bit there. So I probably could just add, I'm just going to add a little bit more there. And just a little bit more there. And I'm just going to fill the rest in with all the other stamps. Alright, the next one, I've got all of these loaded up. So these will be my last ones. And I basically use them just to fill in white areas. So I just grabbed any of them, it doesn't matter. And I just started stamping all over the place. I'm turning some different ways. Sorry, oops, see now I've got a mark there, but we can cover that up. So that's alright. And a little bit there. Alright, so I can see I've still got a lot of white space there as opposed to on that side of it. But this is the beauty of it. You can create all sorts of lovely colours and patterns. Alright, now careful again not to press too hard. And just adding a few different ones. I might go back to the darker colour. Now there is quite a hole there, so what I might actually do is I'm going to fill that up. It's a big hole. There we go. Alright, add in some more little bits of green. Yep, that'll do. And then I'm going to finish it off with using some gorgeous grape and some Highland heather for some of these. And I'm just going to randomly stamp just to give it a little bit more fullness. Might stick one in the middle. And we'll try and cover up that blotchy bit that I just did, which looks like I've done it successfully. And then I'm just going to use a smaller one, which I thought with the gorgeous grape, which I think is that one. So, and just sort of filling in some white spaces. And that's it. And that's all there is to it. And I'll just get rid of all this. Alright. Now I've actually taped that, I put a little bit of removable tape under that so that it wouldn't move while I was stamping. Oh, and I just, whoops, just lost it. Alright, so now that is ready to trim. Remember that was 8, so I'm just going to trim it to 4. And now you have 2 lovely coloured stamped panels. And you could use them either way you like. And that's all there is to it. So all I've done is I actually used the stitch rectangle on one of them, and at that size it just barely fits on that there. It'll fit right along the edge. And I've just added a bit of ribbon and a mounted sentiment over the top of the ribbon. And this one I just went, that was in the jade, that was just in Memento, and I've just attached it. So you got two cards that look pretty much the same, but if you mount them differently on different colours, you get two completely different looking coloured cards. If once you've split them, you can still then, if something didn't look right and you wanted to add a bit more colour somewhere, you can finish them up after they've been separated. So that's the easy way to do it. Just random stamping with different coloured inks, and then you can, I'm not actually going to make the cards because they're just attached to a card base, so, so I'm just basically just going to show you the technique today. So that's the first one, and that is very simple, and that once again was Eden's Garden and just the flowers from Sweet as a Peach and those little ones there. The little stamps are just good for filling in white areas. So that's our first one, and I'll go back and show you actually. These were the original ones I made for the Colour Fuses blog hop. They were obviously together that way, and I just added some embossed panels with that. This particular card I think needed it because it was, I don't know, it just needed a little bit of colour, and they were the colours that we had to use for the challenge. So that's another option you can do, is trim your panels down and mount it on a bit of embossed background. Alright, and you don't need much, just a sentiment and they're done. Alright, that's the first one. We'll go on to the next one, which is a little bit more tricky. And I've used a different colour for this one. Oh, sorry, I've used a different stamp set. This one is masking. A little bit more time consuming because you've got to keep putting your masks on everywhere. So they were two pieces like that. And I've just flipped them and done, once again, try to make them look a little bit different from each other. I have huge boxes of scraps. These are all my die cuts of labels that I've cut and haven't used. Then, as you can see, I've got hundreds and thousands of dies that I've cut and not used. And then I've got all my embossed bits that I have not used. And I have all my sentiments and my labels, stamp sentiments that I haven't used. So a lot of the cards that I make here, I've just picked up things out of here, so they might not belong to the stamp set. But I think I did Your Friendship and Love and Thanks. Yes, so I did re-stamp those. So this one we're using the Prize Peony. So I will go through that. So with this one, I like this one. Whoops, this goes a bit crooked. The same thing, I'm just going to centre that between 4 and 4. Alright, so I've still got my guide, where to stamp. Alright, so with this one, it's all about masking. So I've pre-die cut on just plain copy paper, lots and lots of little extras so that I can use for masking. Basically it's the same way, you just pick a colour and you start stamping. So with this one, I'm going to start with the lightest one so I don't have to keep cleaning my stamp all the time. Also using my guide again, so I get flowers on either side. Now this one I wanted the flowers facing out that way, so I'm just going to turn my stamp around. Alright, so there's one, and there's where all these little die cuts come from. Now you can put a little bit of removable tape on the back, but I prefer to just sit it and just hold my finger there. Otherwise you're continually peeling off little bits of removable tape. Alright, so I'm going to do one that way. Alright, and then I'm going to add another one and put that one back there. Doesn't have to be exactly lined up. I was having trouble lining up this die, this stamp with the dies. Probably should have drawn a little line on it so I knew which was the right way up. Now this way is a lot more involved. The copy paper is great because it's thin enough that you don't get any lines around it, and I just don't put it right to the edge. I come down just so that the outline is just barely showing. And then we'll put that one there. And whoops, put that on there. Sorry, I'm all hands and thumbs. Alright, so then I'm going to grab another colour and do another one. Alright, so this is the Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to go that way. And I think I've got another one. So you can see why this one's a little bit more time consuming. Oh, if I get my line up properly. About there. I don't know what I'm doing, which I'm stamping on, but that's alright. Alright, and do some more purple ones. Oh, I've run out. Where'd my other one go? Here we go. Another one. I did die cut a lot of them, so I had lots spare. Oh. Another one. Oh, look at that. My sample didn't even turn out that well. Alright, a little bit of mark there, but you won't see it. Alright, last flower, and I'll do that in the darker colour. And it was very hard for me to remember how that went. A bit like that. There we go. Do another one. And I do a lighter one with the smaller one. Oh. Oops. Alright, let's have a look at that. Alright, so we need another darker one down there. Pop that back there. That. Do a darker one. I'm getting all my inks mixed up, but that's alright. There we go. So there's our centre line. So if we kind of... Oh, alright, so that one's still needs a little bit more there. And that one's okay, because we'll add lots of leaves around that one. But I might leave that one and just pop a leaf there, no, because it'll drive me nuts if I don't fix it. So we'll pop that there. I'll pop that there. And I'll do another. Yeah, now I'm happy. Oh, see, now look what I did. But that's alright, we'll cover that up. We'll cover that up. Let's have a look. Whoops, I've just, oh, look what I've done. I've put wrong colours. I'll have to clean those ink pads now. That's because I was getting excited. Alright, now for the leaves. Let's have a look. The leaves I just randomly stamped. I'm trying to find another ink pad, another block. And once again I used the same two colours. And I just randomly stamped them. I didn't bother putting the mask on, because by that time I'd had enough of the mask. I didn't want to play with it anymore. It's just, I just randomly stamped them, and it's pretty good. And the same with the other side. And I'll grab the other one and I'll use a different colour. Oh, I really forgot to re-ink this one. I don't have much left in it. Oh, nearly done. A little bit. Yep, that'll do for now. Alright, oh, sugar ink everywhere. And that is masking with the same technique, so you can get two cards out of it at once. So we'll trim that and have a look. And there we have it. So for this cover, we might actually, I might try and add some of these. Oh, I might have ruined it. Oh. Yeah, no, I should have left it. That's alright. Alright, so then you have your 2 bases, and then you can trim them down. You can die cut a rectangle or whatever shape you want, and they're ready to go. These are all scraps out of, like I said, my box. A little bit of the new, I can't remember what colour that is. It's a new one that comes with Eden's Garden, I think. And these were just all bits that were in my scrap box. And the same with that. I found that little panel that I die cut. And that's all there is to it. Add a few little, add a sentiment, add a butterfly, or I found a bee. I never used that bee before. And that is the second one. So it takes a little bit longer with all the masking, and then you end up with things like that. But what I would do with that was, I would trim that down. Okay, so once you've got the bigger panel, you can trim it down. So, just to chop that off, I'd probably make that 5. Whoops. Oh, doesn't work. No. 5. No, that's not enough. 5 to 3 3/4. No, so you probably need to trim that down a bit more to get rid of that. But then that'll make that panel really, really tiny. But it's all trial and error. And also I'm rushing, so it's not surprising I made a boo-boo like that. Alright, the last one is a little bit more trial and error. And I'll grab this one. So it's still using the same method. But this one we're just going to use die cuts. Stamped die cuts, or if you just had plain die cuts. And these were the other 2 cards I made for the Colour Fuses blog hop. And I just stamped all those flowers and I put the die cut leaves underneath. So that one is, I'm going to do this sample a little bit different to how I did this. This one I actually split into 4. I made 4 little note cards with this one, and I have used the Art and Bloom. Main reason for using that is you can stamp 3 flowers at once. So I had loads and loads of flowers to put on this sample. So this one takes a little bit of guesswork, but there's no right or wrong. And I've just used the same panel, they would have all been something like that, to make 4 different little note cards. So it's a nice little matching set. Alright, so we're using the Art and Bloom, and I'm only using the flowers, the leaves and the big triple flower. Once again, I have prepared it. So these cards are all 4x4. So I actually started with a panel that's 8x8. So I'm going to, making it easier for me, because this is an 8x8 panel, I just scored a little bit in the middle on both sides to get my centre point. You're going to trim it, so it doesn't matter. Or you could use a pencil and a ruler. And then 4x4, so I think it was about, we'll go there just to give us a starting point. And I'll put some more removable tape. Alright. Alright, so for this one I did it the other way around. I actually stamped a ring of leaves and then I added all the flowers. So, here's all my flowers already stamped and trimmed, die cut. So I basically thought, okay, I want to fill up, that much of the circle. So just placed randomly, just for now, just placed a few flowers sort of kind of where I will end up putting them. And then I just grabbed the leaves, which I have no idea where they are. Oh, here they are. Oh, goodness. Alright, I didn't have any more blocks, so there's that one. I hope you're getting all this. Alright. Alright, so I've just sort of basically placed where I may be putting my flowers, and I'm just going to, and this is 8x8, and I'm just going to go around And this way is pretty cool because you can just put the flowers exactly where you want them. Oh goodness, oh, green ink all over my desk. Alright, so just, you know, remembering your cross in the middle. Oh, whoops. This on either side. You'll understand what I mean when it looks weird, but it works. Alright, and the darker one, which goes that way, and then obviously trying not to stamp on the die cuts like I just did. So we've got a bit of an idea, so I can move them out of the way. Maybe just one more there. Alright, so you've got an imaginary circle in the middle. Now, the important thing with this is you actually have to stick all your flowers down, because when you cut it, if there's a little bit that's like these little bits here, you can either leave them off, but then they fall off if you don't actually tape or glue the whole bit down. So then it was just a matter of going around and trying to put the different coloured flowers all around it. Right, if you need more flowers, you can stamp some more. Just trying to pick different colours there. Right. There you go, and that's all we're going to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to start, if I can find my tape, I'm just going to start with one in the middle and just keep taping or actually I'm going to go around the edge. I would use glue, but I won't dry cleaner. So I'm just actually going to start around the edge and then work into the middle, because I want the middle one to be on top of the corners. Alright, obviously I would be doing this properly with multi-purpose glue, but this way is a bit quicker. I think I've done enough. Oh, leave that there. I got a bit of a gap there. Please don't run out of tape runner. Alright, so this one takes a bit longer and a bit more thought, I think, into where you're going to place everything. Alright, then we'll start doing some middle ones. Alright, and one big one right there. Alright, and I don't like that, so I'm going to whack another one up there. Whoop. And just keep adding, and they're done. I'll take that off. Oh, like that. Alright, so now remember this was 8 by 8. My cards are 4 by 4, but I'm going to trim these to 4 by 4, and then I can decide what size I'm going to trim them to. Alright, now it's going to be a bit hard to go through all that. Whoop, wrong one. Alright, so see what I mean? There's going to be tiny little bits on the edge that you can either leave there or take off. Should use my trimmer. Oh, here we go. Alright. Alright, so there you now have a 4x4 panel that you can trim down. Missing some leaves there, so we might be able to add a few more leaves in there. Or you can use that spot to pop your sentiment over. So, where did my sentiment go? There's always a solution. There's that one. Probably don't have a nice small one. That's too big. That's too big, but you could cover that up with obviously a smaller one. Let's see what I've got. Alright, so you don't have to worry. That's not nice, but I'll give you the idea. Just pop a sentiment over it. It's the beauty of card making. Cover up all your mistakes. So there's one, and you can do them whichever way. And we'll trim this one. Whoops. And now you have 4 cards. 4 little note cards. Alright, so that's all down. That's all stuck down. And there we have it. 4 different, you can do them whichever way you like. Alright, I did that one. And I also I did the same thing, and I used the peonies. And I made these ones as well, but I haven't mounted them on anything yet. I did them exactly the same way, just different flowers. Alright, so then you can trim them down, you can die cut them. These ones I've done all different sizes. I've cut them down to, oh, what have I done? I think that was, yeah, they're all different size that I've trimmed them down. That one's just the same size, that was 3 3/4. And I've just done them all different sizes to fit the note cards that I wanted to use. So, that is the video for today. Lots and lots of different ones. I do really like, where's the first ones I made? Oh God, I've lost them. Where's the first cards I made? I can't find them. Yeah. I really like these ones. And wherever the other ones went, oh, here we go. I really like these ones too. And one. Alright. There we go. There's all 4 of them and the other little note cards. And there's 3 different ways to do the split card technique. That's a lot of pink and purple and blue and green, isn't it? Alright. That is my tutorial for today. I haven't got anything else to share with you. I did want to mention to all the people that have been buying my tutorials, I truly appreciate it. So far it's cost me $6,500 to get the process of my teeth out and to get my new dentures. And every single time someone pays for a tutorial, it helps to pay for the rest of it. I've still got about another $2,500 to go. I'm only on a pension. So it's been a hard slog trying to get all the money together to pay for this. So I really do appreciate everyone who does take the time to go and purchase a tutorial, because you must know that it is helping me to get my teeth. So that's a good cause. That should make you feel good to know that Gail's getting teeth. Alright, that's all I have today. I'll just do an open see if there's any questions, and then we might say goodbye. Hold on. Hi, Kathy. Alright. Okay, good. I must have explained it really well because there's no questions, and it's pretty simple and fast, straightforward. Hope you go off and try this. I'm going to set up one of those things on my page again where you can add your photos. So I'll do that after I finish this. And if you do use this technique, I would really love it if you shared it on there. Because it helps me too. It's getting increasingly hard for me to come up with new ideas. I just get blocked so easily now. Everything's kind of looking the same. And I just think, no, I've done that before, but I'm actually trying to simplify things a little bit. Instead of making them too difficult, I'm going back to simple. Alright, Everyone have a lovely Sunday, and I shall chat to you all soon. Bye. Bye, Kazzy. Bye, Tanya. Bye.